Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's market recap. We got January the 6th, and I'm happy to see all of you again. Please let us know in the chat if you can see us, hear us properly, if everything is working fine. Today, I'm joined by Bruno, Jake, and Ben. So we have the full house here. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Good. How
Hi
are you?
guys.
Wonderful.
Guys, doing great.
It is our first live stream in this new year. So to those of you who haven't seen us yet, I want to wish you everything well in the new year. I hope you had a nice holiday season. We're just gonna give maybe a minute for everybody to join in, and then we're gonna get into the recap. Once again, for those of you who don't know us or are not familiar with our mentors, to my right hand side is Ben Sparham, our mentor and financial analyst based in London. Under me, we have Bruno Perinelli, who's overlooking our American markets. And to his right hand side, Jake Torres, who is covering what's happening in Asia. So I hope that everybody is tuned in, comfortable, and we can get ready. So the first thing that I want to touch up on is what has happened over the course of the last week. Bruno, can you quickly recap for us the most important events of the last week?
Sure, Oliver. Well, the week started off really quiet with the banks holidays across the world. Then the German inflation that plummeted came in, and that caused risk-on sentiment. We discussed this on the live room on, I think, midweek, Tuesday or Wednesday. And then yesterday, some strong numbers of the U.S. labor market came in, and with caused risk-off sentiment, quite the opposite of what the German inflation had caused. So there's been some breakout in some charts that were analyzed in the live room actually, and today we got the NFP, the non-farm payrolls, which is the official labor creation in the US. It's going to cause a lot of volatility. So I guess that we should back off a little bit from the markets and get ready to see where the market is going before trade.
So you think that traders should stay away from the market during big news such as non-farm payroll?
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right, thank you. Wonderful. So those were the sort of events that we had going on over the last week. If you guys want to catch more of those, feel free to check out our live trading room. Bruno's in there live every single day, focusing on fundamentals, on whatever the viewers are interested in. Now, to keep it going, Ben, I would like to ask you, what are the most important upcoming events of the next week in the EU and the US?
Yeah, so the main thing that I'm going to be focusing on going into next week, Oliver, is probably going to be inflation data in the US. Now, the data isn't obviously out until Thursday, but there's going to be a lot of expectation as to what's going to happen in that release during the build-up in the early parts of the week, right? So we've seen a little bit of dollar strength come in, to kickstart 2023. We actually took advantage of that with a nice trade on dollar yen during the week in one of the live room sessions that we had in the London Open. And I'm really going to be watching that theme as we continue into next week. Does the dollar continue to maintain that strength, basically? And then, of course, when the inflation data comes out itself, firstly, what sort of number do we get? Do we continue to see a bit of a pullback in those inflationary data sets? And, what does that then potentially mean for the Fed as we move forward with interest rates and stuff like that? And as we get closer to that terminal rate, etc. But really and truly, the main theme that I'm going to be watching for next week is, does that dollar continue to strengthen? Do we continue to see more strength there as we have a bit of a deflationary environment, basically, which is typically better for currencies? And how does that then obviously present any potential trading ideas that, of course, as always, I'm going to be sharing with the guys in the live room during the week?
Thank you very much, Ben. Is there anything in particular that you think that traders should be careful, watching out, or maybe staying out of the market during in the next week?
Yeah, so like I say, with that data coming out, obviously you really want to be careful how you're managing positions around that. So, for example, if you had let's say you was long euro dollar, as a random example, I'm not telling anyone to buy euro dollar, but just to give you an example here, let's say you had some exposure to the dollar in some way, shape, or form heading into that announcement. Just weigh up, what's my risk to reward ratio here? How far from target am I? Where can my stops be placed? Maybe even, do I look at scaling out of the position? Whatever the potential rules are, we go through this with our elite traders, for example, how to manage your risk and how to actually manage around news events when you have active trades going, right? So that's something they really want to be careful of and really want to be aware of. And of course, if you don't have a position, you don't go taking a trade, 5 minutes before the announcement itself when there's going to be a lot of volatility. So just making sure you follow those risk parameters and guidelines that are in your process and strategy, basically.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for the advice. And sort of last thing that we're going to touch up on today is, of course, we have left out the Asian markets. So, Jake, what important events do we have looking forward to next week in Asia?
Before that, I would like to, of course, as a background on what happened on this week, what is interesting that happened during the Asian session. So we have the news, which is not available in the TradingView economic calendar. The news about the China is starting to easing their zero COVID policy. That is also, of course, that is positive for the AUD. And during our previous live market recap, so we already established that if the China will be easing the zero COVID policy, that is something positive for the AUD. It happened on the 4th of last Wednesday. So that is what we will be able to know when we are present in our daily live stream, to be prepared ourselves when there is an incoming news, because we explain what will be the news that would drive the price. So either we will take that as an opportunity to trade or an opportunity to get out of our current trade.
So
And
this
on
week,
the next,
sorry, continue, please.
yes, and on the next week, of course, there will be also the inflation in AUD. And on my personal view, there is as of the moment, we are not seeing some possible trading opportunity during the release of the CPI of the AUD. But overall, during our live streaming, we will explain everything. What will be the possible effect if this number will come out from the CPI, if it is higher than the forecast or lower than the forecast. So basically, we will be explaining the possible effect of the result of the numbers from any calendar news.
Okay, thank you, Jake. So as you said, this week's focus in Asia is laying a lot on the China's COVID policies and how is that going to affect the currencies. Well,
yes.
That is what you should traders expect over the course of the next week. In the meantime, if you like our mentors, if you want to get to know much more in-depth information, feel free to head over to our website, luxtradingfirm.com, and check out the live trading room. Since the new year, we have launched the program where we brought in a new dashboard. Now, you traders who just want to watch the live trading room with our mentors, you no longer have to join the elite club. You can just get a subscription for the live trading room. So if that is something you're interested in, if you want to keep up to the news, please check that out. If you have anything that you want to ask us or anything that you would like to see in the next live streams, please leave that in the comments section and we will see you again next Friday. Until then, have a great one. All right, guys.